A lot of people think that you need a fancy and expensive degree to work in fashion, but the truth is that you actually don't. So then you do some research and you're wondering, how do I work in fashion without having a degree or without maybe having any experience? And the top Google results tell you to get internships, to volunteer at Fashion Week, and to read magazines. I mean, literally one of the top results on Google says read magazines. I don't know how that's going to get you into fashion. It couldn't be further from the truth. So I'm going to tell you what you can do instead to get into the industry. Because here's the thing. If you're going to do internships, you need to live in a fashion hub. If you're going to volunteer at Fashion Week, you need to live in a fashion hub. And again, reading magazines is not going to get you anywhere. So what do you do to work in fashion if you don't have any connections, you don't have any network, you don't have a degree, and you didn't go, you don't have any industry experience? You do freelancing. Okay, you can break into the industry as a freelancer much more easily than you can as a full-time employee. Now, when I talk about freelancing, I don't mean freelance temp jobs that are really full-time jobs where you have to work on site 40 hours a week for one brand. That's just a temp job in disguise. It's actually quite abusive to our industry. I don't condone that type of work. And those jobs are just as hard to get as full-time jobs. I'm talking about true remote freelancing where you work with a variety of clients. You have the freedom and the flexibility to work when and where you want and on what type of projects you want. And this type of work is so much more accessible than working full-time. You don't need all the things. You don't need employment history on your resume. In fact, you really don't need a resume. You don't need internship experience, and you don't need all the skills or years of experience. To be a successful fashion freelancer, all you need is one skill. All right, let me introduce you to some of our Freelance Accelerator students who are kicking major ass with their one skill. There's Brittany, who hasn't worked in the industry, has no experience, and she got her first client within her first week of joining Freelance Accelerator for doing fashion flats. She's exclusively drawing fashion flats. There's Arya. Arya's from India. She is 20 years old. She did not go to fashion school. She has no industry experience, and she, within a few weeks, got six clients exclusively. Yes, as I said with Brittany, also drawing fashion flats. And then there's Eleni. Eleni is from Greece. She had no real industry experience, and she is exclusively doing tech packs. She works with brands around the world, and she makes about 4 to 5 times the average wage in Greece than a full-time designer. She chooses to work part-time, and she's earning about $3,000 to $4,000 a month working part-time. All right, if you want to hear more about these designer stories and how they were able to break into their freelance career and build it, you can listen to them on my podcast, Successful Fashion Freelancer. We'll put the links below. And if you're curious what your earning potential is in the fashion industry, I've got a cash calculator where you can input 2 numbers and it will spit out your earning potential. It's really cool to see how much you can learn as a freelancer. So your one skill can be anything in the design to development process. But I'll tell you the 2 easiest skills to start with when it comes to freelancing in fashion without any industry experience and without having gone to school. You might have guessed it by the examples I shared earlier, but it is fashion flats and it is tech packs. Here's why. These 2 skills are the easiest to learn on your own. You can learn by looking at free tutorials, which I have a ton of, and I'll link to those playlists below as well. Beyond that, all brands need these services done. All brands need tech packs and all brands need fashion flats. And so this is the easiest point of entry for you as a freelancer, right? Pattern making requires a lot more physical learning. It'd be a little bit harder to learn that digitally and on your own. And it kind of requires a lot of hands-on experience over years of time. That is not the same for fashion flats and tech packs. Things like sourcing and working with factories and doing the whole product development process, those are a little bit more complicated and can require some experience. But fashion flats and tech packs, you can learn on your own and then offer those to brands as services. So if you don't have any industry experience, if you didn't go to fashion school, it is much easier to gain 1 or 2 skills and to break into the fashion industry by getting a few clients as a freelancer than it is to break in as a full-time designer. If you're wondering how you get started and where you find clients, I have a free masterclass that you should definitely check out, where to find freelance clients. It doesn't matter if you don't have a network, you don't need to live in a fashion hub, you don't need to know anybody. I'm going to show you 2 simple tricks in the masterclass for how to find freelance clients. You got this, and I am here to support you. Thank you so much for watching. I am so Heidi, and if you like what you see, make sure you subscribe. I also have tons of free content on my website, which we'll link below, as well as my podcast, Successful Fashion Freelancer.